Flash games are a cherished relic of the past, and as in past, I mean 4 years ago. But 3 years, 364 days, and 59 minutes ago, it was considered one of the greatest forms of entertainment. There were literally thousands upon thousands of different Flash games to play, and we would play them everywhere. At home, at school, on Jerry's lawn. Every moment that we could, we played Flash games. But sadly, as of December 31st of 2020, Flash Player was shut down. And along with it, was thousands upon thousands of Flash games. An entire part of a young generation's history completely wiped. And ever since the removal of Flash games, things have never been the same. And the only thing we can do is look back at the good times we had. Well, you can also still play Flash games, but I'm going to look back at some of the most memorable Flash games that we all loved. Before I get into this video, thank you guys for 4,000 subscribers. I don't know what to say at this point. The previous video, I said thank you for 3,000. The video before that, I said thank you for 2,000. You guys are the greatest, alright? The Fry Guy Army is rising, and I'm here for it. I won't waste your time any longer. Let's get into the video. The Fancy Pants Adventures is a platformer made by Brad Bourne. It was released on March 14th, 2006. It takes place in this pencil-style world where you jump, flip, and dash your way to the next door. There are 3 different enemies to jump on, such as angry spiders, little rodent shooters, and even birds. And while you're at it, there's these little swirly things to collect, and if you get 100 of them, you restore some health. There's also these little green swirly things, but I don't know what they do. There's also a couple Easter eggs in some maps in which I would assume it's the developers. And you can even change the color of your pants. Isn't that fancy? There's not much to it after that, in which you'll find a lot of these to be that way. That's what made Flash games so good. You didn't need to know too much about it. You just played it. This was one of the very first Flash games I ever played. This is one of the OG Flash games, okay? It paved the way. There are currently 5 games in total from the series. Fancy Pants World 1, Fancy Pants World 2, Fancy Pants Remake, Fancy Pants World 3, and Super Fancy Pants Adventures. You can actually still play these games as they're available on Steam in a bundle. I'm sure most of you remember playing this game and enjoying it just as much as I did. It's a really good game and I'm glad the creator's still working on it. The Escape franchise is a series of games made by Afro Ninja. Each game you're trapped in a strange location and you have to get out. Click around and search the area for objects. And if you ever needed to, you can combine 2 objects for something. There are 7 games total in this series. Escape the car, escape the closet, escape the phone booth, escape the bathroom, escape the freezer, escape the shack, and escape the office. These games were so goated back then, and I didn't beat a single one of them. There were a lot of escape games back then, but none of them did it like Afro Ninja. The atmosphere and the lack of music just made everything feel a bit creepy, which just makes everything about it better. I did eventually beat Escape the Car and Escape the Closet, and I was much older. I gotta play the other ones. I've only played Car, Closet, and Phone Booth. Yeah, this was a great series overall. The Papa's franchise is a series of restaurant games made by Flipline Studios, with their very first game, Papa's Pizzeria, being released on August 7th, 2007. You're just a pizza delivery boy who, upon walking into the store, find a note that says that Papa Louie ran off to another adventure, leaving you to run the pizzeria. You adhere to any weird requests the customer may have, whether that's 50 pepperonis or 1 sausage at the bottom end of the crust. And the amount you're tipped is based on how good of a job you did. I'm not gonna lie, some of them MFs never wanted to tip. Like, you could do a really good job and they just be like, that pepperoni is half of an inch away. It's like, bro, just eat the pizza. There were a total of 14 games in the series. Papa's Pizzeria, Papa's Burgeria, Papa's Bakeria, Papa's Sushiria, Papa's Cheeseria, Papa's Cupcakeria, Papa's Donuteria, Papa's Freezeria, Papa's Hot Doggeria, Papa's Pasteria, Papa's Taco Mia, Papa's Wingeria, Papa's Pancakeria, and Papa's Scooperia. I didn't even know the cheese or sushi one existed. All of them are literally fire. They're literally all goated. There isn't a single person who has played Flash games who has not played a Papa's game. It's like the Flash game. It's the Flash game to play. If you're sitting down in computer class, Friday, all your work is done, you're gonna play a Flash game, and that Flash game is gonna be a Papa's game of some sort. It helps pass the time. It's super simple, but yet really fun. You can still get these games on Google Play Store, but the cost ranges from $1 to $3. It's kind of hard to cough up some money when the Flash versions were free, but if you want to, you're able to. These games were still a lot of fun, and I'm sure all of you guys agree. Renegade Racing was made by Not Doppler. I actually couldn't find the initial release date for this game, but it's an intense racing game where you have to perform many flips and wheelies to get to the finish line. There's a ton of vehicles to choose from, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. From a tiny hatchback to a bus to an ice cream truck. Yes, you can drive an ice cream truck. There's 18 levels spread across 6 different tracks. I think this is my favorite Flash game. It was so simple, but it was hard to master. Having a wide variety of vehicles meant I could try different things. Everything from the tracks to the music to the stunts were just super cool. This game is also available on the Google Play Store, but it's completely different. It's nothing like what this game was. There's more stuff added to that game, but it doesn't have the charm the original one did. There's just so much detail added to it. Like whenever you hit boost, there would be a different sound each car made. Plus, we can't forget the yee yee chants every so often. Honestly, even if you don't like racing games, I feel like you'd still love this one. This game is just as fun as it was back then. It's really great. Earn or Die was released in 2011 by Toffee Games. It's a game where you have to run over zombies with your car. After each day, you earn money so you can add upgrades like weapons and more fuel. There are currently 4 games in the series: Earn or Die 2, Earn or Die 3, and Earn or Die Rogue, which is in limited release. Now, I didn't play this game as much as I did others, but it was still pretty fun, and I know it was very popular as well. It might be a bit of a slow burn since it's very repetitive, but once you start adding upgrades, it gets really fun. You can also get the later games on the Google Play Store. I'm not entirely sure about the first one though. All in all, this was a very cool Flash game if you want to knock around some zombies. Happy Wheels is a ragdoll platformer made by Jim Bonacci. It was released on June 4th, 2010. This game features a lot, but the main goal is to get to the finish line alive. There's quite a lineup of characters to choose from, such as a dad and his son, some old dude on a wheelchair, and some fat guy in a mobile cart. There's an endless amount of levels to play with countless obstacles. This honestly had one of the biggest communities for a Flash game. There were thousands of levels uploaded by users, and many different game modes within the community, such as Bottle Run and basketball. YouTubers are even playing levels made for them. This is easily a top 5 Flash game in any list. The impact this game had in its genre is astronomical, and it's available on app stores. The only other community I can think is just like it is the Geometry Dash community, but this game was crazy popular back then. I'd be genuinely shocked if you've never played this game before and you were born in the last 30 years. This is arguably the best Flash game ever, and there's no doubt about that. QWOP is a ragdoll maneuver game made by Bennett Foddy. Now, some of you may remember that name, and that's because he made Getting Over It, a very difficult game about a guy in a cauldron reaching the top of a mountain. QWOP is just as annoying and difficult. You're a track star, or rather, just a track runner, who needs to see how far he can go before he falls flat on his face or back, or even your head. Seems pretty easy, except you're only able to use the letters QWOP. This has caused a lot of irritating moments, which Bennett Foddy is known to do. Now, I don't think this game is meant to be fun. I think it's for people who like to overcome really bad odds. It's more for people who want to learn and overcome very difficult mechanics, unless you just want to have a few laughs. I'm sure many of you remember playing this. I didn't play for long since my little kid brain got sick of it really quickly. I'd still consider it legendary, and it's a pretty cool game. Run is a space platformer made by Player03. It was released on December 11, 2013. The game is about what it's called: you just run. There are a total of 3 games in this series, 3 being the most popular. In Run 2, they introduced another player, Skater, which is a lot faster than Runner, but you can't control them as well. And Run 3 added even more characters. Okay, you may have been able to get away with the other ones, but there's no way you haven't played this game. Run is the platform Flash game. The little gray alien is ingrained in everybody's brain. If you have not played this game, you are simply lying. This game is an easy 10 out of 10. I remember I would just play this game at school and zone out, and I know all of you have played it too, because there's no way none of you have played this game before. Run is a pretty sick game that we've all enjoyed. The Run games are also available on the Google Play Store if you want to get them. Poptropica is an online RPG made by Jeff Kinney. It was released on July of 2007. Now, I'm sure you all remember the name Jeff Kinney, and that is because he is the author of the Diary of a Grumpy Kid books. In this game, you have to solve certain issues across many islands. You go around collecting items and talking to NPCs, and every time you complete a quest, you earn an in-game currency which you can use to buy stuff at the store. There's even various mini games that you can play with other players. There are only 2 games in the series, Poptropica Adventures and Poptropica Forgotten Islands. Now, I never really played this game, but I know others who did, and they said it was a lot of fun. There seems to be a lot that went into it. If you played this game before, let me know how it was. But yeah, looking at it now, it seems kind of cool. Alright, this next one is just an honorable mention. I just stumbled upon it while looking at some of these games, but there's actually a McDonald's video game. No, it's not made by McDonald's itself, it's a parody, but you have to manage the entire process of owning a McDonald's, from growing the cows and soy fodder to pleasing the corporate execs, and there's a lot to handle, so the slightest mistake can send everything crashing down. You have to handle things like keeping your cows healthy, and properly advertising, and preventing social workers from finding out your secrets. You could literally hire politicians, nutritionists, and climatologists to spread misinformation. Oh yeah, and you only have a certain amount of space, so if you want to expand, you're gonna have to do some deforesting. This is just an interesting game. I didn't give it much thought at first, but as I played it, it got more and more complicated. I doubt many people have played this game. I'd be surprised if you have. Rock Hard Coliseum is a fighting game made by Stone. I actually couldn't find the original release date for this game. This game featured popular figures from the once thriving community of stick fight animators, who all fight to the death. There isn't much you can do, except press a couple buttons every now and then, but you can choose on who you want to win, and if you're right, you get a point. Earn enough points that you can select the competitors for the next game, which they never made. Now, I like this game personally, because stick fight animations have been a big part of my childhood. My favorite was Wrench. I liked Alpha 2, but I also really liked Wrench. But yeah, this game holds a special place in my heart, and I really enjoy it. It was just a really cool way to bring a lot of the popular stick figures together. Yeah, see what I did there? But yeah, I used to play this game all the time. I really loved it. Club Penguin was an online multiplayer game made by Rocket Snail Games and Disney. It was created on October 24th, 2005. It featured this massive world with so many things to do. The game, according to the wiki, had over 330 million accounts. Every player started off with a little igloo as a home. You could go around playing various mini games. The game was free, but if you had a membership, you could unlock a lot more things, like being able to buy certain clothing with in-game currency, and buying little pets to be by your side called Puffles. There were also monthly parties hosted on the game that had member only sections. Pretty much being a member allowed you to really enjoy the game. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this is probably the most popular Flash game ever. I remember seeing advertisements of this game as a little kid. This thing was everywhere, dog. Every single person I knew played this game. The popularity of this game was unreal, dog, which made it even crazier when the game shut down. I personally didn't really play the game, so I don't know too much about the intricate details. This game was everywhere at one point. It's really crazy seeing a big figure of the past just gone. Flash games were honestly really great. Whether you like to admit it or not, they are a thing of the past. And even though you have to take a few extra steps to play them, for what they were, it's totally worth it.